Okay, so we know how to find the slope from a table, from a graph, from 2 points, okay? Now we have to talk about what it means. So just like when we talked about what does the x-intercept mean or what does the y-intercept mean, now we got to talk about what does slope mean. So first of all, you have to know that another word they can use to describe slope is rate of change. Okay, so this is the same thing. So if they're asking for the rate of change, that just means find the slope. Okay. Some keywords, so like our keywords for y-intercept was the starting or initial number. So our keywords for slope is going to be per, because our slope is how the graph is changing. It's not a specific place. So when we're writing per, it's going to be whatever whatever y represents per whatever x is representing. Okay. And another word could be like each. Okay, because per means per one of x. So let's do a little caret, per one of x. So for each x value. So let's look at some examples. So when it says what is the rate of change in this table, so rate of change, that's just a special way to say slope. Slope. There we go. So if I'm trying to find the slope from this table, I know what formula am I going to use. It's going to be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I'm going to pick 2 points out of this table. We know how to do this. This should not be like a big shock to anyone. So pick any 2 points. Great. We're labeling xy, xy. This is the first point. This is the second point. So when I plug it in, that would be -10 minus -13 over 16 minus -8, which would turn into 3 over 24, which simplifies to 1 over 8. So this is the exact same thing that we already did. Rate of change just means find the slope. This is new. So it says the graph shows the percent of a student's workout that remains after X minutes. What does the rate of change represent in this graph? So when I see rate of change and it wants to know like what word does it mean, I'm going to put per. Okay, and we're talking about y per x. So I'm going to write this down. So in my graph, what was labeled on the y-axis? Well, on the y-axis, the label says percent remaining. Okay, so I'm going to put percent remaining. Whatever. Okay, per, well, what was on the x-axis? Down here. Minutes. So I'm going to put per minute. And I'm going to put per 1 minute. Okay. So is the answer going to say exactly this? Probably not, but it's going to be close to that. So letter A says the initial amount of workout remaining. That is not talking about percent remaining per minute, so definitely not A. The number of minutes remaining per percent, well, it does say per, but it didn't say percent per minute, so it's not that. The decrease in percent remaining per, okay, this said per, that's an option. So this said percent remaining. Percent remaining, that was supposed to be first, minute, second. That could be it. Letter D, how many minutes until the workout is over? That did not talk about per 1 minute, so definitely not that. So our answer was C. Okay, that's what you're looking for in your answer, is either the word per or like each. Okay, let's look at number 3. The graph shows the amount of dough a baker prepared after X hours of work. What does the slope represent in this situation? So we're going to write it down again. Slope. That means my y per x. So we're doing blank per blank. Okay. Well, what is on my y-axis this time? Is my dough prepared? So I'm going to put dough. And I'm also going to they put a unit on there, which is in kgs. So they could say dough or they could say kilograms. Either way, I'm going to put both. For my x, well, what was on the x-axis was hours worked. And we're talking about per 1 hour, per each hour. So here we go. Letter A said the number of hours worked per kilogram, so it could be it because it says per, so we'll keep that in. The amount of dough prepared per hour also said per, so we're going to keep that in. The starting amount of dough, starting is for y-intercept, not for slope, so cross out C. How much dough is made after 10 hours? No, we're talking about per 1 hour. This said 10 hours? Definitely not. Okay, so we narrowed it down to these two. Now this one first, before per, said number of hours per. What was supposed to come first was dough or kilograms. So this said hours first, that cannot be it. This one said the amount of dough prepared per hour. That's this, dough per hour. So the answer is B. One more and then you're going to be on your own. So here we go. The graph below shows the height of a maple tree after X years. What does the rate of change represent in this situation? So rate of change, we know that really means slope. And so we're talking to y per x. So blank per blank. Okay. What is my label on my y? Is the height in inches of this tree. So we're going to put height in inches. Okay. And what's on my x-axis is the age. So in years. So we're going to put per 1 year. Okay. So we're looking for the word per, or for the word each. The starting height of the tree. That is not talking about how much, that's the y-intercept when it says start, so not A. The number of years it takes to grow 1 inch. Well, it did talk about 1, so we're going to leave that in. We're going to put question mark, maybe. The number of inches it grows each year. This said each. That was an alternative for per, could be each. So we're going to keep that in. D, the height of the tree after 10 years. 10 years, we want per 1 year, so it's not D. So let's look at our two that could be correct. Now we're supposed to be talking about the height per year, or the height each year. This said years for 1 inch. That's not it. The number of inches, so height, that's inches. It grows each year per 1 year. Yes, because the key was the 1 year. This said the number of years. We want to know, well, what is it in 1 year only? So the correct answer was C. So you can go ahead and start the quizzes.